So I will now be very pleased to introduce our speaker. This is, I think, the second time I have introduced you, Sam, and I'm very happy to do so. He will share the topic, the divine spark. And I have worked with Sam, and so has Paul, and other people here have. I've worked with him a few times, and he helped me to heal my painful arthritis issues and the torn meniscus in my knees. It was one aspect of my healing journey. He did this through his peaceful healing meditations and dissolving what he calls head trash. He guided me to not attach to my thoughts of fear, defeat, and disease. He has helped me to remember my authentic, divine, perfect self, and it's such a simple process, which is amazingly beautiful for us to embrace. Today, he will be exploring consciousness and understanding one's true essence, the divine spark within each of us. Our true essence is beyond intellectual understanding, and we will journey beyond the mind this morning. After a short talk, there will be a 15-minute spiritual transmission to help participants let go of mental identities and body identities and dissolve energetic buildup. And then the session will end with a Q&A where individual healing and spiritual insights are shared. Sam calls himself Baba Sam, the miracle man. And before he suffered for 38 years with multiple sclerosis, bipolar, migraines, psoriasis, and many other incurable chronic illnesses. He found a way out through his suffering with inner peace, and he had a miracle. He helps miracle seekers alleviate chronic illness and pain without using traditional medicine, but through using soul-aligned channeled transmissions. He's the founder of the Vibrant Soul Society, a community on the Circle app. He is offering a special for Circle of Miracles, a free 60-day trial, no credit card required, no contracts, in the Vibrant Soul Society, where he holds live twice weekly psychic readings, twice a month healing circles, and a monthly workshop. And how to get onto this Vibrant Soul group, it's on the website in our newsletter. Okay, so I would like to give a warm Circle Miracles welcome to Sam Shelley, who will be speaking from New York City on Zoom.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure to be here. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay, but it's a beautiful day here in New York City. So I'll just begin a little bit with my journey, and I did touch on it a bit. So it began at age 6 for me when I was run over by a van, and for the next 38 years, I had health issues originating from that, from the bipolar to the psoriasis to the arthritis until multiple sclerosis at age 37, where I lost the ability to walk. At this time, I was completely identified with the body and the mind. I didn't know myself as this divine spark, this spirit, this soul, whatever you wish to call it. But I simply realized one day when I discovered meditation that I have thoughts, but I'm not my thoughts. If I'm not my thoughts, who am I? And we need to dive a little bit deeper into this. If we can observe our thoughts, our words, our body, then we are not those things. We are the observer, that divine spark, and we get lost into our identities. So we need to dissolve all of that and to realize my divine spark, my essence, my consciousness is connected to all that is, that there's nothing to figure out. All the answers are within us, but we get lost in all these mental stories, the blocks. I call this the head trash, because really garbage that gets in the way from hearing our own insights and our own way of being, to realize that you live in your body. You know it the best, and others are simply guessing what is best for you. So we need to let go of all of this and realize we're always connected to all that is. And as Paul reminded us in that great share today that it's all about simplicity. The mind wants to make things very, very difficult for us, and it doesn't need to be this way. But the mind does not like change. The mind will resist change. It likes familiar. The mind does not care if you're in pain, you're suffering. It's familiar. Let's keep it. To step beyond the mind, beyond the thoughts, requires some courage, if you will, because the mind will start creating all these stories of fear. Well, what's going to happen with this? What's going to happen with this? And the mind will keep going down this trail, which will keep you stuck in place. So for today, I'm going to be doing this spiritual transmission. It's going to be a little bit of a guided meditation in the beginning. Then it will just be about 10 minutes of just silence when I just transmit this energy, just to feel this peace as we dissolve all these mental constructs that we have, all these stories, all this judgment and comparison that we have on the body. Because this is really what I call mental interference. The mind is constantly interfering with our own divine spark, that it knows the way forward, it knows the next step. Your divine essence isn't going to give you all the steps. It's going to say, do this or do that when it makes absolutely no sense. And sometimes it requires some courage to take those steps. When I was dealing with multiple sclerosis, my balance was very poor. I needed a cane, I needed a whole bunch of things. But I heard that essence within me say, do yoga. Of course, my mind had all these stories why I couldn't do yoga, but I did yoga anyway. And 6 months later, no cane, because my story is when I was discovered that I had these thoughts, but I wasn't my thoughts, and I inquired of who am I just heard a voice say perfect spirit. That voice was my intuitive voice, or my divine essence, that's always whispering to us, trying to get our attention. But we're so lost in the day to day, the responsibilities, that we forget to listen to this deeper essence within us. So it's really about learning to relax and learning to trust yourself and to step back into our own spiritual sovereignty, our own spiritual authority, because we're constantly taught not to trust yourself, to give our power to someone else. And this all begins when we're very young, when we go to school. You go to class at this time, you eat lunch at this time, and you're constantly told what to do. And this becomes a learned process throughout our life that outside of us is the answers. Outside of us is the authority. So all, so all of this is about our own divine spark to stand in our light, our truth, and follow that voice, even when it doesn't make sense. That's the important thing is even when it doesn't make sense, because your essence does know the way. It doesn't guess because it's connected to all that is. So I really don't like to give long talks because this will engage the mind. And I really want to disengage the mind to get you to relax, to feel the peace, to feel that essence within you. And I frequently hear from meditators that they never experienced this kind of peace before because I was fortunate not to have a spiritual teacher to fill me up with all the rules on how to meditate, how to do this or that. I simply relaxed one day. I had a 5 minute relaxation process. So the mind would start getting busy. I would come back to like, where are my feet? Where are my hands? Where do I hear? Coming back into this moment. So it took about a week before I discovered that I was chasing thoughts with more thoughts. And we want to let go of all these thoughts and just be who we are. Keep it very simple to really isolate it down to the simplest thing that we can do in this moment. And that's to let go of all the rules, all the requirements, all the ways of sitting, holding your hands, breathing, any kind of mental activity that causes a judgment. We need to let that go. Am I doing this right? There is no right way. There's only your way because you are the authority of your life. What is best for you is best for you. And we need to let go of these opinions of others. They may mean well, but it may not be your path. Sometimes we see these workshops, these programs, and it doesn't work for us because it wasn't meant for us. So we got to start learning to stand in our own truth, our own light, our own divine spark, and realize everything's working out perfectly, even in ways you don't understand. So we are that consciousness itself. And we start disidentifying with our identities, our mind, our body, and we just relax into ourself and we just trust what is my next step. And we take that. So we just want to come into this nice ease of relaxation that we don't need to make things so difficult, so hard on ourselves, and to realize we can just let it all go as we reminded in the beginning today that we are the light. There's nothing to figure out. It's just a matter of just how can you relax? Just a practice of relaxing that works for you because you are this consciousness. And personally, I don't like to get into levels of consciousness because once again, that's a judgment, that's a criticism, it's mental engagement. So just realize we are consciousness. We don't want to define that in any particular way. Just the more present, the more aware you are here, the more you are aligned to your divine spark. Because we can either be in the mind or here. And the more you can keep yourself here in this moment, the more you are aligned to who you are and you're walking your path. So just keep it simple today. So I'm going to just transmit this healing grace for about 10 minutes or so. And we'll do a little bit of guided meditation to get into this space and just realize it's just the grace, the energy of the universe that is us, restoring us back to our natural state, that the body can take care of itself if we can relax the mental interference.